In this video, I'll be modeling how to construct the centroid of a triangle using a safety compass. First thing you want to do is construct a median. In order to do that, we need to find the midpoint of one of the sides. So I'm constructing congruent arcs so I can locate the midpoint of this side. Now that I have my midpoint, I can connect this midpoint to the opposite vertex in order to create a median of the triangle. So that line from this midpoint to that vertex is called a median. I need to do that 1 or 2 more times in order to construct the centroid. So I'll move on to another side. Again, constructing 2 congruent arcs. Using that to find the midpoint of the side. And then once I have the midpoint and know that that side has been cut in half, I can connect that midpoint to the vertex on the opposite side. Right now, if everything is constructed correctly, this should be the centroid of my triangle. In case there were any issues with precision, I want to check with my third side. So I've got 2 congruent arcs that I'm making. Again, I'm using those intersecting arcs to find a midpoint. Once I have that midpoint and know that I have cut this side in half, I am connecting that midpoint with the vertex on the opposite side. Right now things are looking promising, and all three of my lines went through that same point, so I can feel pretty confident that this is the centroid of my triangle. The centroid is pretty powerful in that it represents the center of gravity in a triangle. There's a little written text here. So after we construct the 3 medians, using the midpoint to connect to one side, we construct the centroid using 3 medians. A median connects the midpoint of one side with the vertex of the opposite side. The centroid, like I said before, is considered the center of gravity on a triangle. There happens to be a 2-to-1 ratio. If we measure the distance from the centroid to the vertex, this is going to be twice as long as the distance from the centroid to the midpoint. So up here in my picture, if I were to measure the distance from this vertex to the centroid, that would be twice as long as the distance from the centroid to out here to that midpoint. So if this is 10, this is 5. If this is 8, this is 4, etc. And that same thing exists for each of the other medians that were drawn to construct the centroid.